Recording in progress.
Hello, Face, and welcome to a video breakdown of the slowdown tool for achieving more coherent breathing. And then I'll also be showing you, I'll be going through the actual slowdown track to kind of explain how you would use slowdown, and then also show you a visual of the breath using Valsalva Wave Pro, which is a biofeedback device that allows us to sort of see this respiratory pattern in action. Let's start real fast by I'd like to share with you. I'll post this link in the video, but this is a link that you can go to sort of read a description about the protocol, the slowdown protocol. So go ahead and check this out when you have some time. And the ideal breath being 5 breaths per minute. Understand that is typically 3 to 4 times slower than where we begin. We're going to talk in a moment about how we figure out where do we begin. You'll see that is also listed in your instructions here. So let's go through this right now. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure your current breaths per minute. Use a clock or a timer from your phone or whatever. You're going to set it for 1 minute, and you're just going to breathe. How many times in that minute do you inhale? You don't need to count inhales and exhales because it's one breath cycle. Inhale, exhale is 1, inhale, exhale is 2, etc. And then once you have identified that, you're going to then choose the track that is one less than your breath. Each track runs about 4 minutes. And what you'll do is you're going to listen to 2 or 3 tracks in a row. Say, for example, if I recorded that I was breathing 16 breaths per minute, I would listen to 15, 14, and then 13. The next day, I would start again, exactly the same, but I'd subtract 1 breath per minute. So instead of starting at 15, I'd start at 14, 14, 13, 12. The next day, I'd do 13, 12, 11. Then I would do 12, 11, 10, etc. until you get all the way down to 7, 6, 5. And after you've done that for a little while, you can just go right to the coherent breathing training. I'm also going to highlight this right here where you see here in the middle. You're going to see high note. Then this is your inhale cycle. Then you're going to hear a little chime right before the end of that high note ends. That's just going to be, hey, heads up, you're about to exhale. Because in a perfect world, you're going to be very precise in your inhalation and your exhalation, timing it perfectly with the breath pacer. Then you're going to exhale with the low tone. And then right before the end of the low tone, you're going to hear another chime. And then you're going to be prepared to go right up right away with the next high note. Inhale, you get your preparatory chime. Exhale right with the low note, preparatory chime. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So let's talk about what it sounds like. I'm going to show you the slowdown. Hang on one second. I'm just going to make sure you can actually hear it. There we go. Okay, so let's just use that example. Let's say I recorded my breath today and I was doing 16 breaths per minute. So I'm going to start my training with 15 breaths per minute. So here we're going to hear what I just described. Lower tone, higher tone, lower tone. And you can also hear that chime in the middle. And again, the purpose for this is to try to create as much accuracy and precision as possible. This is a training program. It's okay if you don't hit every single one of them, but the idea is that the breath, inhalation, and exhalation patterns are very precise. So you do this entire track, and then if you're doing 2 tracks, you'll go right to 14. You're going to hear different tones. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And if you're doing 3, you go all the way to 13, different tones. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And so, for example, that would be your training program. If we were starting today, we started at 16, we go 15, 14, 13. If you did all 3 tracks, you would be doing about 12, almost 13 minutes of breathing, and that's it. Now let's talk about the act of the breath. So the act of the breath is we're not trying to take full inhalations and full exhalations. This is not about volume of breath or trying to decompress the rib cage or any of the other things that we could be doing in a breath training program. This is specifically to encourage the movement of the diaphragm. So I'm going to show you another image which will allow you to see the diaphragm in action. I'm going to move these out of our way so hopefully you'll see it nice and cleanly. All right, here is a video. This is the Valsalva Wave Pro, which is actually measuring this breath pattern, a coherent breath pattern. So you're going to see the meter going down. And now it's rising up. This is an inhalation. And then it's going to drop and fall on the exhalation. And you're noticing what I'm drawing your attention to is how smoothly at the bottom and smoothly at the top it makes this transition. One of the ways it does that is that we're not pushing the air out forcefully at either end. You're sort of letting it nice and glide out like a pendulum swinging. So if we would have flipped this image 90 degrees, we could see it on a vertical axis. What we would see is more what would look like a pendulum, so going from side to side. So you're trying to breathe in a manner that's relaxed and comfortable and also not producing a lot of air. So if I was following this breath pattern, which is a coherent breath pattern of 5.5 breaths per minute, if I were breathing with force or volume, you might be able to hear me, which would sound something like what I'd prefer to do is just breathe naturally in a more relaxed manner. I'm going to exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Okay, so that's the practice. So we're not going for volume of breath. We don't want to have any breath holding. We want to have nice smooth end points. So, and if you feel like there's any sort of openness or sort of effort involved, it might be there in the middle of that breath, but not at the end points of the breath. And again, just try to use that precision. So with a program, you're going to try to work your way downward, practice it for 1 week and see where you land. And let's see how comfortable you can be by the end of the week with whatever breath. So if you're starting at 20, by the end of the week, you're not going to be at 5. If you're starting at, say, 11 or 12, you might, by the end of the week, be down to your 5 breaths per minute. And let's see how it feels. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you. Happy breathing.